Okay, so we're back. Thank you so much for watching this video, watching the last video. I was floored. Emails began to come in. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm so happy about it. So many of you are connecting, or you connected with the first video, and I'm really so very glad because this is a topic that I am quite passionate about. And I don't know about you, but have you ever been really passionate about something and you're like, are we all in? Are we all in? And you're the only one with like your hand in the air. So I have always been afraid that maybe it's just me, but it's not just me. Your emails prove it's not just me. Your messages online prove it's not just me. Bumping into you at the bank or in Marshall's. I gotta quit going to Marshall's. I go there all the time. I'm always seeing somebody because I'm always at a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx. And I'm bumping into you and you're not saying to me, hey, life has been hard for me. No, what you're saying is, hey, here's what's going on with me. And guys, they are real life issues. We're talking about infidelity. It's the first year without my mother. It's the first year without my father. It's he left me after 20 years of marriage. It's my child walked out of the house and I've not seen them and they're living on the street. I mean, these are the kind of stories that you are sharing with me. And then I go, okay, so it's not just me. Like, it's not just me that had to live broken and wounded for so long. I mean, it is us. It is us. Let's do something about it. And so if you're catching up with us, what we talked about on the last video, just in a short recap, is, we talked a lot about boys to men and root canals, essentially. So I don't want anybody to watch these videos and be like, what's Melissa talking about? And then like, I don't know, but she really hates root canals. No, I just likened life to a root canal. Horrible, but necessary. Really. Painful, but necessary. Oh, the better for it. We don't wake up and want to do it, but 99.9% of the time, we're always better when we do. And we're better when we live through the pain and we learn from the pain. So you want to know what the last video was about? You want to know what this video is about? It's about this. Life sucks and it is hard and it can hurt and we hurt with the best of them. And now what? Let's talk about now what. So this social media platform for me is not just about silly makeup videos and leagues of followers. It's really not. It's about you. It was always about you. It was about how I could reach you and connect with you. It was about how the pain in my life and the lessons that I learned from it could be used for you. It could be used to teach you and to help you and to aid you in any way possible. That's really what this is about. And as fortunate as I've been and as blessed as I've been to have a lot of different opportunities and exciting things come up, the heart of it all was always, this. God, don't let everything I went through be for naught. Don't let my son's name be for naught. Don't let my pain be for naught. How can I use it? And then I met you. I met you when your husband left you. And I met you when you're, God, this one killed me right here. My 16-year-old son walked out the door and the last thing he said to me was, I hate you. That one killed me. It happened to someone I spoke with. And I didn't want all of that to have been, all of my pain to have been for nothing. And I thought maybe I could just share that with you and we could do that together, not commiserate together. Well, I'll raise you one. Here's what happened to me. So that we could learn from it. We could heal together, right? That's really what I wanted to do. It's so that when we jump off into this learning experience and we jump off and we allow ourselves to feel all the pain that we need to feel, will we make it to the other side? Will we come back up? Will we live again? And that's really what I want to talk to you about in this next segment. See, I'm not as I said before, I'm not the best Bible teacher in the world, and I'm certainly not, Oprah or Dr. Phil, and I don't always have the best wisdom to give, but I do have experience, and I can speak from my heart. And I'm not really worried about a lot of things, but but your heart, how's your heart doing? That's really what I want to know. How's your heart doing? I don't know what to tell you about your divorce. I don't know what to tell you about your bankruptcy. I don't know what to tell you about your dead-end career that's going nowhere, or your spouse that isn't coming home at night. I don't always have the answers for that, but I want to know how's your heart doing. That I can help you with. That we can work on together. I don't know what to do about some of the other stuff. It's beyond me. I don't have that kind of wisdom. But you give me your heart. Let me help you get it to beat again. Get it repaired. Broken pieces. Now that's something I know something about. So I said, give me your heart, right? Let me tell you what I know about broken hearts. Many years ago, my husband and I were probably at our, I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th visit to a specialist. He would go and examine the child in my belly. I was about 7 months along at this point. And he really just said, Melissa, I need you to know that what has happened to you is it's like lightning striking. This child isn't going to live. You need to know that. It would be best if you had aborted this child. That really was not an option for us, and because we were just believing for a miracle. We wanted children so badly. And we left his office that day with very little hope, and no hope at all, actually. I need to be honest. No hope. And broken hearts, just broken pieces like all over the place. And we got in the car and we were driving home. It was about a 45-minute drive till we got to our house. And so I had a girlfriend call me immediately, and she was like, okay, tell me what the doctor said. And I told her, and she just said, hey, we're coming over. So when we pulled up to our house, which we left unlocked all the time, was unlocked, and all of our friends were there. Like, our house was full of people. People ready to hug and ready to pray and ready to believe, and like casseroles were like everywhere. And we came in, and I couldn't barely even see through my eyes. My eyes were so swollen. And so here's what happened in this moment. And I want you to really pay attention to what happened in the moment, because it was one of the top 3 lessons I've ever learned in my life. And I'm going to share it with you right now. You ready? Everyone began to hug us, and my pastor was there. And he said, let's pray. And David and I knelt down beside the couch, and we began to, weeping isn't even the word for it. I bet you know what I'm talking about. When it's not really weeping and it's not really crying, it's like a guttural kind of animal kind of thing. It just comes up, and it just sounds like, it's like it's just your whole body convulsing, right? And that's what we began to do by the couch. Needless to say, we just kind of like shrunk to the floor. So with every word, kneeling by the couch, and I just kept saying, why? Why, God? Why? Why me? When all of my friends are pregnant, why me? Why does this have to happen to me after 12 years of infertility? Why me? After 4 miscarriages, why me? Why us? We've been good people, right? We've gone to church. We've done what we were supposed to do. We care for our family. We love our neighbor. Why us? Why? Why this child? Why now? Why can't I have this? And I was whying and why? And then someone interrupted me. My pastor. He leaned over as gently as he could. He didn't say it with one single air of self-righteousness or I know better. He just leaned over as gently as he could, and he said, stop saying why and say what. You want to know about to say what? I was like, say what? That's what I wanted to do. I looked at him through my eyes that were so swollen, looked at him, and he said, don't say why. Say what? But when you form the word what, everything shifts, everything changes. You can't even form the same sentences. So instead of saying, why me? You can't say, what me? So do you see what I'm saying? Like the entire sentence changes. Your verbiage changes. So when you remove your why and you start saying your what, everything changes. Everything. Even your sentence structure. And when your sentence structure changes, hang on, because you can no longer say, what God? What God makes no sense, but you've been saying, why God for so long? You start saying things like this. What now? What was this for? What is this about? What are you trying to teach me? Do you understand? That when pain happens, we hold on to it and we say, why? And we don't really ever really truly get the answer that we're looking for. And so we just keep saying why, and we wonder why we're just spinning our wheels and the mud is going everywhere. Say what? Say what? But here's what you got to know. Now here's what you've got to know. When you begin to say what, everything will change. When you begin to say what, it will change your perspective, and there will be a shift. See, saying what requires something of you. It requires you to do really the heavy lifting. And that's the part that I know you're not happy with me right now, because you're like, oh, so I am hurting and now I have to work. Yeah, baby, you do. You certainly do. You have to work. He might have left you, and it's not fair that you have to work, but you have to work. They might have fired you, and it's not fair that you have to do the heavy lifting and do some of the work, but you got to do the work. You have to do the work. You might be on the 12th year of infertility, and it's not fair to ask you to do the work, but you got to do the work. You've got to start saying what instead of saying why. You have to change your focus and change your mindset, and that's what I want to help you do. I want you to stop crying, and I want you to stop blubbering, and I want you to stop for 1 second and just change the words you say. Quit asking why me and start asking what now. Okay, so I hear your objections. I can hear y'all screaming right now. Objection number 1. So you, Melissa, want to teach us. You with your naturally blonde hair. It is natural. Shut up, don't say a word. Okay? You with your naturally blonde hair and your big gaudy earrings, and you want to be the one. Yeah, I do. I'm not claiming to be anything special. I'm not claiming to be the best Bible study teacher in the world. I'm not Oprah. I'm not a guru. I don't have all of the answers, but I made a mess of my life and I've learned from it. I just want to tell you about it. I've hurt with the best of them and I've learned from it. And I just want to tell you about it. I don't want to be any more for you than I could possibly be, and I don't claim to be able to do that. I want to change your head and your heart. If that changes your world, good for you. But I'm not out to change your world. I'm out to change your heart. I'm out to change your head. I'm out to change the way you look at things and the questions that you ask. I'm out to shift your perspective and your focus. I'm not out to change your world. All I'm saying is, a lot of times when you shift your perspective and you shift your focus, when you start asking the right questions, well, baby, your world just changes anyway. And then number 2, objection number 2, I don't like God. I don't want anything to do with him. Never liked him. Don't care for him. Don't really want to talk about him. Well, here's the problem with that. The problem with that is, look where you are right now. See, I like him. I love him. I found him to be faithful. I found him to be a healer and a friend, and he listened to me when I cry. I can't walk through the wilderness and through the safari with you and not tell you who kept me safe, and not tell you who got me from point A to point B. I can't do it. I'm going to need to talk about him, but we're going to take it slow. And we're going to hold hands. I'm going to be with you the whole way. I'm not going to talk about anything that's going to make you uncomfortable. Okay, but I am going to talk about him because he is a life changer. He is a heart mender. That's what he does. That's what he does best. And I want that for you. And yeah, I mean, I once literally quoted a scripture as, when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. And one of my girlfriends said, Melissa, that's not a scripture. That was on a cat poster in our 4th grade. That was on a cat poster in our 4th grade class. So yes, okay, I'm not the world's greatest Bible teacher. I never claimed to be. I can only tell you what he's done for me. And what he's done for me is a lot. You don't want to talk about God? Fine. But as Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Before we go today, I want to end with a really, really short story. In 2012, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, don't quote me on the year, but I definitely know it was Kalamazoo, Michigan, I read a story about a man who walked into a convenience store and he had been shot. And he walked up to the register, and before he could get there and ask for help, he collapsed on the floor and he lay there bleeding. He lay there while one person stepped over him to pay for their gas. Another stepped over him to pay for their food. Another one stepped over him to pay for their gas. Another one stepped over him to pay for their item and took out a phone and videoed him. But the 5th person did something about it. I don't care if he was 18, 8, 58. That was somebody's boy laying in that floor. That was somebody's child laying in that floor dying. And people were stepping over him and videoing his death. And not the man behind the counter or the multitudes of people that walked in and out of that store did anything about it until someone said, I refuse to step over the bleeding. I refuse to step over the hurting. I will do something about it. I'm just curious, who are you in that story? Are you the man behind the counter? Got to keep it going, got to keep it moving, got to keep people coming in and out. Can't stop, Melissa. Can't stop to deal with what's going on around me. Can't stop to look at the people coming in. And I certainly can't stop to deal with this pain. I certainly cannot stop and deal with this pain or any of the pain around me. Can't deal with my family's dysfunction. Can't deal with the heartache. I got to keep it moving, got to keep it going. Are you him? Are you the people that stepped over it? I can't look, I can't look, I can't look. Da, 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 da. So you just step over it and you just pretend like it's not there? Do you take out your phone and video it? Because nobody would believe what I'm seeing. Nobody would believe. Or are you the person that goes, I can't step over the bleeding. I can't watch these videos that Melissa is making and not share them with someone I know that is lying desperately in a doorway right now needing help. Then send it to them. Then send this email to them. Forward it to them. Do whatever you can, man, but make a difference. Live with this story until our next video. Live with this story and figure out who you are. My fear is that you are one of 2 people. My fear is that you are the laying wounded. You are the bleeding out. You are the hurt and the broken and the battered and the bruised. And you are laying there lifeless while the world goes on around you. You don't even know that you are the walking dead because you've laid there for so long. And I'm also worried that you could be the man behind the counter who refuses to see the pain and refuses to look it in the eye and refuses to call it what it is because there's so much going on. He has a job to do. He has a family to feed. He's got bills to pay. He's got laundry to put away. He's got kids to do homework with. And so he's not paying attention to what is bleeding out in front of him. I'm also afraid that's you, but I want to tell you who I am in the story. I'm not walking over the bleeding anymore. I'm not walking past the broken. I've been there. I laid there for so long, they did a chalk outline of my body. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not taking out my phone and taking pictures of you. I'm helping you up. I'm getting you help. I'm taking you to the end of this. We're going to do this together. Do you hear me? We're going to do it together. I don't step over the bleeding anymore. I was stepped over long enough. And I'm stopping and I'm turning around. I'm calling for help from the safari guide, and we're getting you to safety. You don't have to lay there anymore. Help is coming. We've only scratched the surface.